and welcome to this week's episode of Urban Legends, the internet's largest urban legend podcast by volume. I am one of your hosts, Chris Flynn, and with me, as always, is my sassy robot sidekick, Mr.
Neil Herbert. Is that a good enough robot voice?
German robot?
Yeah, it went more Gunther, didn't it?
Nah, I am a robot.
A German robot. Well, maybe it's German AI. Who knows? Anyway, a robot would sound convincingly human-like these days, I would imagine.
Yeah, right.
Unless they programmed it to sound robotic.
Yeah, because you don't want the uncanny valley.
Yeah, that's true.
How you doing,
beeps
Neil?
and boops.
All the beeps and boops and the
stars
squiddly
and
doops.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right, yeah. It's all good, yeah.
All good. So I'm going to... Normally I'll give people an update on my life because I don't really have anyone to listen.
No.
But I'm going to be honest.
Howling into the void, aren't you, really?
Howling into the void of the internet, like so many of humans these days.
There's so many of us, yeah.
We're actually recording two back-to-back. And we do that sometimes, not so often these days as you used to, but... I'm going to let people. I'm letting people into a secret, kind of behind the curtain, and
fascinating glimpse into the process.
What they'll be thinking is, well, how is it that what you say always seems so topical and relevant?
And topical, yeah.
So
talking about like 10-year-old memes or whatever.
Yeah, Thatcher. Yeah.
Politics from the 80s. Yeah.
So here's a little tip for anyone thinking of starting a podcast: say stuff that's quite vague. So, like, we'll show you how we do this now.
Yeah, so we're handing out tips to podcasters now. I'm not sure about this. Fair enough.
Yeah, why not? We can say what we like.
Yeah, do you like? Yeah.
Neil, that stuff the government did. That stuff the government did this week. Idiots, aren't they? I can't wait till they're out.
Oh, that party that we don't like.
Oh,
whatever they are.
Disgusting. So that's good. What you'll notice is
that's evergreen material, isn't it?
Yeah, what you notice is we kept it vague. Neil, you know that incident that happened earlier this week abroad?
That clown in Parliament.
That's a bit worrying, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm concerned, and obviously I hope for the best, but yeah, what can you do?
Hey, we just got to keep on podcasting, and everyone keep safe. See, look, again, we kept it vague. So.
Probably reasonably insincere, but that's fine. That's what
So that's just
nobody wants to care too much about stuff.
Just a little tip there. Just a little tip for people.
Yeah,
so according to our statistics, we are primarily now an American and Indian podcast.
Yeah. We're very much like The Guardian, isn't it? It started out as an English newspaper. It's more of an American website these days.
Yeah. So I think, obviously our American friends have always been our number one supporters. And... Is
this a prelude to a story from America?
No. And just... it's interesting that countries that flirt with populism like us. I'm only joking.
Oh, we'd be doing better in Russia, I imagine.
I'll tell you who I hate though, Neil, because like what I'm doing is now I'm catering to American Indian audiences. So do you know who? Tell you who I hate though, Neil.
Who's that?
It's British, isn't it? Fucking pricks. What are they like? They sit around
drinking down the White House in 1815 and
that's it.
Places.
Yeah. Drinking tea. Idiots. They've all got bad teeth, apparently.
Apparently, yeah. Even though actually it's a fact that they've actually got better dental health than...
got much better dental health, but what they don't have
fewer number of fillings, I believe, was the official thing.
They don't have... we don't have necessarily the culture of cosmetic dentistry as much. But yeah, like... Do you know what? Like, the thing about Brits, which I hate...
sticking to this, are we?
Well, I'm trying to, but you keep pulling it.
Derailing it, yeah.
You can't... You're too nationalistic to be able to do this properly, aren't you?
Yeah.
They're...
I'm just getting Rule Britannia screaming in the back of my head.
Well, I don't think that they should have a place on the UN Security Council anymore now, because, they're not a world power anymore. What do you think to that?
Yeah, about time too, yeah.
Them and France should both be off it.
All of them.
Everyone should be off it.
All of old Europe should be
sent
to the trash bin of history.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, eh?
Yeah.
So there we go. That was a little bit for our American and Indian listeners there. Hope you enjoyed that. Neil is climbing the walls because, like we said, he's a very fervent nationalist.
Yeah.
well known for being.
I love my country. No, yeah.
I feel about this country like I feel about every country. There are good points and bad points.
Yeah, basically.
So, Neil, you are a bit sniffy about creepypastas, right? But they are an urban legend, and we are going to look at one of the famous ones.
Let's be honest, we've been doing this shit for about 3 years now, so...
Why are you being so negative? Are you still thinking about the nationalisms?
That could be.
It makes you aggressive.
You run out of things to talk about, don't you, eventually? So you've got to dive into the...
Creepypasta is a type of urban legend.
Well, it is, and I suspect, there's a kind of novelty concept thing for me, but I guess it's been around for 20 years probably now.
Probably longer.
You've got to remember, I remember before the internet, Chris.
Well, so do I.
Creaky,
so. When Britannia ruled the waves, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Still does in my heart.
Yeah, Rhodesia and that.
Sunset? I don't think so. Not in this empire.
No, all empires last forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to look at a creepypasta called Smiledog, which is a famous one. Neil, I'd like you to
say famous.
I'd like you to type it in and look at the pictures of said dog.
Oh, okay. Smiledog.
So I've got.
It's going to be terrifying.
I've got a love-hate relationship with dogs. So I love dogs.
Is that 2 words or 1 word?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But I hate a lot of the people that own dogs because they don't know how to own dogs properly, and then they can hurt people. So that's my love-hate.
It's it's not going to be the dog's fault. Well, I do think
it's not the dog's fault. It's never the dog's fault. It's the owner's fault. But
I think there are certain breeds I worry about, kind of like because they've been bred, deliberately
with aggression,
breed aggression, and
like Chihuahuas and that.
Chihuahua, nightmare. Well, there's a lot of different.
Yeah, scary, aren't they?
I mean,
Neil's currently scared. So what I'm going to do?
Sorry, terrifying. Chris. Absolutely terrifying.
So,
poorly photoshopped Siberian Huskies are, a real thing of mine.
Is it that though, Neil? Is it? So what we're going to do is that on a lot of the wikis, I'm starting off on the creepypastafiles.fandom.com wiki.
Mm-hmm.
They have the kind of top trump thing, which I enjoy reading out, which someone obviously has made up. So I'd like to go through some of the top trump, the headlines of the powers and that of this Smiledog.
I'm not going to try and stop you.
Okay, good. So I'm glad.
Looking like a dog version of the Joker. I think that's one.
I think that's an excellent description now.
Yeah.
Well done. You can paint 1,000 words. So, Smiledog. Full name, unknown.
Ooh,
aliases, Smiledog.
So far so.
Smiledog.jpg and smile.dog. Relatives, NA.
Okay.
This is a weird topic thing to have. Occupation. Supposed hellhound creature that appears in photographs. Powers/skills, Neil. Right, it's got loads.
Oh, okay. I say this should be good.
So, insanity inducement.
Right, that's good.
Dreams/nightmare manipulation.
Okay, that's not bad. Like Scarlet Witch of dogs, isn't it?
Yeah, general manipulation.
Just generally, it's very manipulative.
It's very manipulative. Well,
it's more cats and dogs, isn't it? You would think.
No, not Smiledogs.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because it's going to have all the ferocity of the cat with all the power of the dog. That's what I think is going to happen here.
Blackmailing.
How does a dog?
I don't know.
Is it like tap your paw twice for yes and once for no?
I think you're focusing in too much on the fact that it looks like a dog, whereas what you should be thinking is
does it have the power of human speech? Because I'd leave with that, to be honest with you. Which just problem is one of those things. These are things that just given me more questions than answers. Do you know what I mean? A blackmailing dog. I assume it's got the power of speech or something.
Well, it's very much like quantum physics in that way now.
Yeah.
Got to dig for the answers. The more you find, the more questions you've got. The next one is high, but not infinite, patience and persistence.
Okay.
Isn't it?
But not infinite.
Not infinite.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Piss. Yeah. In some variations...
But I'll hang on for the call centre for 40 minutes, all right? An hour and a half? No, you're having a look.
Oh, come on, it's not infinite. I'm going to blackmail him.
Yeah.
In some variations, it can enter and exit between the cyber world and the real world, and sometimes hell. It has.
I mean, I think the cyber world has turned into hell now, so...
It has sharp claws and teeth, fair enough.
I mean, yeah, very dog-like.
Sort of very general one here. It has murder skills.
Ooh, okay.
What are murder skills?
Skills at murdering stuff.
All right. Yeah. And demonic powers being the last one of its power/skills.
I mean, a lot of the above. I mean, murder skills were demonic power. Well, I don't know, actually, maybe not. I suppose, like...
demonic power could be anything. It could be...
like Ted Bundy had murder skills, I suppose, didn't he? But he wasn't... I mean, he was demonic in a very... They weren't, strictly speaking, demonic, yeah.
No. So its current status is unknown. So that's... Keep your eye out.
Okay, this is on the interweb somewhere, waiting for a victim.
Its species is hellhound, straight from hell.
So you're lucky if you just get blackmailed, then.
Yeah, you're very lucky.
Because you could get moided.
Gender, male, obviously.
No.
Hobby, driving its victims to insanity and killing them. Got to have a hobby.
Fair enough. Everyone's got to have a hobby.
And they've managed to ascertain its goals as well.
It'd be quite fulfilling, wouldn't it? So, that's just its hobby. What are its goals?
Its goals are
become CEO of a top, solve climate change and become CEO of a top 100 with FTSE 100 company or something.
So it's to spread his image across the internet and essentially the world, ongoing, torment his receiver until they relent and spread the word, die or kill themselves, succeed.
Oh, so is this one of these chain things where you have to let someone else know about Smiledog or he'll harass you?
Sounds like it, doesn't it? And the type of pasta it is a satanic urban legend now.
See, maybe this is what we could do as marketing for our podcast.
So, you have to put some podcast on, otherwise your family will die.
Yeah, we've got murder skills and demonic forces, so you better not fuck about here. Tell everyone, tell 10 people you know.
It's a bold marketing campaign.
Yeah.
And I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
It'll either lead to a doubling of our listener figures or jail. So,
whatever,
He's going to give you stories.
Three squares and a roof. Yeah. Not bad. So I'm going to, so this is the full shebang, and it's on creepypasta.com, Smiledog. And it's got a rating of 9.1 from 10. And that's from 5.18k votes, so 5,180
So these are people rating
votes.
How creepy the creepypasta is.
Estimated reading time 12 minutes.
I mean, my one concern would be is that I want to see what the deviation on that score is. No, because do they all come out at like around 9 out of 10?
I don't think so. Well, let's have a look. No, I can't. I'm not going to do that now.
No,
let's not.
Just my cynicism. Let's assume he's at the top end of the scale for creepiness.
So
it certainly sounds like it.
Table of contents. We're starting with the Smiledog creepypasta. Then there's an overview, origin and development, influence and impact, and the uncanny. So here's the creepypasta. Right. I first met in person with Mary E. in the summer of 2007. I had arranged with a husband of 15 years, Terence, doesn't mention on whether or not it's Terence Trent D'Arby.
Oh, well, you have to assume, wouldn't you?
You have to assume it probably is. To see her for an interview. Mary had initially agreed, since I was not a newsman, but rather an amateur writer gathering information for a few early college assignments, and if all went according to plan, some pieces of fiction. We scheduled the interview for a particular weekend.
This worries me immediately. He's going to have some sort of shattered glass thing going on.
What's that?
He wants to be a newsman, but also wants to write fiction.
Well, what's the difference these days?
Well, exactly.
We scheduled the interview for a particular weekend when I was in Chicago on unrelated business.
Sounds shifty.
But at the last moment, Mary changed her mind and locked herself in the couple's bedroom, refusing to meet with me.
I mean, you just had a vibe about it, and you didn't really. Yeah, that's all right.
Sounds like a happy house.
I mean, just ask him to leave. To be honest with you.
No.
I mean, usually when someone comes in, it's like, oh, you make yourself a cup of tea. I'm just going to go and lock myself in the bedroom now. Just pleased to see you.
Well, presumably Terence Trent
D'Arby
about
the house, do what you like. Yeah, Terence Trent D'Arby was singing some beautiful acoustic song in the corner or something, or a cappella.
Yeah. For half an hour, I sat with Terence. There you go.
Yeah.
As we
is he still knocking about, Terence Trent D'Arby? Singing?
Well, he's not dead.
Yeah, no, I had some vague notion he might have passed.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out the further we go in the story.
Oh, maybe Smiledog's taking him down.
Maybe. Quickly update his Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Death, 2007. Smiledog. Of course, Smiledog. So for half an hour, I sat with Terence as we camped outside the bedroom door. I listening and taking notes while he attempted fruitlessly to calm his wife. The things Mary said made little sense, but fit in with the patterns I was expecting. Though I could not see her, I could tell from her voice that she was crying. And more often than not, her objection to speaking with me centered around an incoherent diatribe on her dreams, her nightmares. Terence apologised profusely when we ceased the exercise, and I did my best to take it in stride. Recalled that I wasn't a reporter in search of a story, but merely a curious young man in search of information. Besides, I thought at the time I could perhaps find another similar case and put my mind and resources to it. Is he dead?
No, actually.
Just released a new album.
No, transitioned to become Sonada Maitreya.
Okay, good for him.
Yeah, I believe they. I'm not sure what their
pronouns are.
So hang on a second. Let's have a look. It was that. He even says he, not I, even though he's talking about. Oh no, he references the previous life, but I think it's a she. Anyway,
right. Okay.
Let's not get into that. But it's yeah.
So Mary was the CSOP for a small Chicago-based bulletin board system in 1992 when she first encountered Smile.jpg, and her life changed forever. She and Terence had been married for only about 5 months. Mary was one of an estimated 400 people who saw the image when it was posted as a hyperlink on the BBS. Though she is the only one who has spoken openly about the experience, the rest have remained anonymous or are perhaps dead. In 2005, when I was only in 10th grade, Smile.jpg was first brought to my attention by my burgeoning interest in web-based phenomena. Mary was the most often cited victim of what is sometimes referred to as Smile.dog. That being the being Smile.jpg is reputed to display. What caught my interest, other than the obvious macabre elements of the cyber legend and my proclivity towards such things, was the sheer lack of information, usually to the point that people don't believe it even exists other than as a rumor or hoax. It is unique because, though the entire phenomena centers on a picture file, that file is nowhere to be found on the internet. Certainly many photo-manipulated simulacra litter the web, showing up with most frequency on sites such as the image board 4chan. Yes.
Oh dear.
Particularly in the /x/focused paranormal subboard. It is suspected that these are fakes because they do not have the effect the true Smile.jpg is believed to have, namely sudden onset temporal lobe epilepsy and acute anxiety.
Oh, okay. There was I think there was a genuine case where wasn't there a Japanese cartoon that because I can never remember whether that's an urban myth or was a genuine thing that happened.
Hey, maybe you should look into it and do an episode on it.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, eh?
Anyway, it's been referenced many times. I vaguely recall.
Well, they had to stop putting epilepsy warnings on everything, didn't they? Because there's flashing lights and that.
Yeah, anything with flashing lights could theoretically, I suppose, cause.
Yeah. And so the purported reaction in the viewer is one of the reasons the phenomenon the Phantom, like Smile.jpg, is regarded with such disdain, since it's patently absurd. Though, depending on whom you ask, the reluctance to acknowledge Smile.jpg's existence might be just out of fear as much as it is out of disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
Neither Smile.jpg nor Smile.dog is mentioned anywhere on Wikipedia, though the website features articles on other such, perhaps more scandalous shock sites, such as hello.jpg or Two Girls One Cup. Any attempt to create a page pertaining to Smile.jpg is summarily deleted by any of the encyclopedia's main admins. Is that true? I don't think there was a Wikipedia on it, actually.
Okay.
I don't think so.
But you're reading it from presumably a website somewhere, so... Although is this the actual picture itself that people try and put up, it gets deleted?
Well, just if you try and do a page on it, not the picture itself.
Oh, so I assume that you're reading off of a page on it?
Yeah, but not on Wikipedia.
Oh, not on Wikipedia. Oh, okay.
Very clear it's Wikipedia.
Maybe Jimmy Wales is just really not into this one at all.
Maybe he's a dog.
Yeah,
could be. I've never seen him.
Things have happened.
I've never seen him. Encounters with Smile.jpg are the stuff of internet legends. Mary E.'s story is not unique. There are unverified rumours of Smile.jpg showing up in the early days of Usenet, and even one persistent tale that in 2002 a hacker flooded the forums of humour and satire website Something Awful with a deluge of Smile.dog pictures, rendering almost half of the forums users at the time epileptic.
I mean, it sounds like the sort of thing they do on 4chan, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, it also sounds like something you would have heard of.
Well, that is true as well, yeah. Well,
because it was quite big, wasn't it, Something Awful?
I think 4chan was a spin-off. Something Awful was very big, but I think these are ones where basically they went off because they wanted to do more offensive stuff than they'd allow them to do.
It started getting moderated, yeah. It was also said in the mid to late 90s that Smile.jpg circulated on Usenet and as an attachment of a chain email with the subject line, "Smile, God loves you." Yet, despite the huge exposure these stunts would generate, there are very few people who admit to having experienced any of them. And I mean, there's a clue. And no trace of the file or any link has ever been discovered.
So this is basically, I mean, if I can just encapsulate what this story is, this is like demonic rickrolling. Is this what we're doing here? So this is the idea: you trick people into watching a YouTube video of Rick Astley. Well, so he's never going to let you down, or whatever it is. For those who don't know what a rickroll is,
never gonna give, never gonna give, never gonna let you down, never gonna turn around and hurt you.
Yeah,
She Wants to Dance With Me was a better song.
Well,
she wants to dance with me.
I'm sure he's got
because it's been so
35 years of new stuff that's worth listening to.
It's just those two.
It's just those two, and variations of. So
it's passing it on.
But the idea is you kind of you can get them to do that, but it could kill or demonize them or whatever.
Well, it's like the Ring and stuff like that. Isn't it? You pass it. Something shit happens to you.
You're compelled to do so. Yeah.
Yeah, or just people are dickheads.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm going down, you're going down. Those who claim to have seen Smile.jpg often weakly joke that they were far too busy to save a copy of the picture on their hard drive. However, all alleged victims offer the same description of the photo. A dog-like creature, usually described as appearing similar to a Siberian husky, illuminated by the flash of a camera, sits in a dim room, the only background detail that's visible being a human hand extending from the darkness near the left-hand side of the frame. The hand is empty, but usually described as beckoning. Of course, most attention
is... Hand of the Deville, do you think?
I don't know, maybe.
Hellhound.
Of course, most attention is given to the dog or dog creature, as some of his victims, more certain than others about what they claim to have seen. The muzzle of the beast is reputedly split into a wide grin, revealing 2 rows of very white, very straight, very sharp, very human-looking teeth. This is, of course, not a description given immediately after viewing the picture, but rather a recollection of the victims, who claim to have seen the picture endlessly repeated in their mind's eye during the time they are, in reality, having epileptic fits.
So I quite like this. Is quite a good conceit, actually. I think so. Nobody's actually. You can't actually see the picture, which obviously would look rubbish. So you just have to,
but it appears.
Yeah, they can give you an impression.
You see that, so you
open
the picture and then you bang, fit.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing the
picture. And then
it
disappears from your desktop.
These fits are reported to continue indeterminably, often while the victims sleep, resulting in very vivid and very disturbing nightmares. These may be treated with medication, though in some sense it's more effective than others. Exorcism, yeah.
Yeah.
A lobotomy, innit?
Yeah. At that point, you might as well just get out the old ice pick.
Bit of trepanning. That's how
let the evil out.
That's how you release the demons.
Yeah, goodness in, evil out.
Yeah, ready break in, demons out.
That's a wellness fad that's still carrying on. Chris, you'd like to know?
Trepanning.
After Neolithic man last popularised it.
It's been going on. It's never stopped.
It's never really stopped. Yeah, it's always been a bit of a niche thing. But yeah, I don't know.
I remember seeing a documentary like about 15 years back about a woman who was
because she had your skull. No,
with like just a Black & Decker drill. She did it.
Yeah.
Well, her and her husband.
Can't see. Yeah, the risk reward ratio is not really on the right scale there for me.
No,
because things that can go wrong when you try and do a Black & Decker into your own fucking mush.
It's your own brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do it in the top.
A lot of things you can try your hand at, a bit of DIY or whatever. I'd suggest brain surgery, probably not one of them.
No.
Maybe get some training first. Yeah, right.
They won't do it, but the doctors won't do it, will they? And do you know why, Neil? Because there's more money
to be made by treating the symptoms rather than the cause.
Rather than curing it. Rather than just getting it cured.
Get the demons out.
Look, if you take these pills, they cost $200 a month. You've got to keep taking them, though, otherwise the demons will come back.
You think you can get hold of a shaman or a witch doctor on the NHS these days? Can you, Phil?
No, you've got a minimum of 12 months waiting.
You go in private.
Right, so... more effective than that. Mary E., I assumed, was not on effective medication.
No.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. That was why, after my visit to her apartment in 2007, I sent out feelers to several folklore and urban legend-oriented news groups, websites, and mailing lists, hoping to find the name of a supposed victim of Smiledog.jpg, who felt more interested in talking about the experience. For a time, nothing happened, and at length, I forgot completely about my pursuit since I'd begun my freshman year at college and was quite busy. Mary contacted me via email, however, near the beginning of March 2008.
Okay, so he was like only a young teenager when he started investigating this.
Well, he said it was just he'd just started. It was like he was doing it as part of college.
That'd be like A levels, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah, sorry. I get confused with some of the American vernacular sometimes, even though we hear about them.
Yeah, we've got different school systems. So, this
is... In fact, we call university college sometimes. Colleges within the universities. Whereas college is more of a sixth form thing.
I went to the school of Hard Knocks.
Or was it high school? I don't know, actually.
Got an E. Yes. So this is the email. Dear Mr. ... I'm incredibly sorry about my behaviour last summer when you came to interview me. I hope you understand it was no fault of yours, but rather my own problems that led me to act out as I did.
Apology accepted, Mary.
No, not good enough.
No, yeah.
I realised that I could have handled the situation more decorously. However, I hope that you will forgive me. At the time, I was afraid.
Really?
You see, for 15 years, I have been haunted by Smiledog. Smile.dog comes to me in my sleep every night. I know that sounds silly, but it's true. There is an ineffable quality about my dreams, my nightmares, that makes them completely unlike any real dreams that I have ever had. I do not move and do not speak. I simply look ahead, and the only thing ahead of me is that scene from that horrible picture. I see the beckoning hand, and I see Smile.dog. It talks to me.
Ooh. So I'm a bit confused on the timeline here. So she saw it 15 years before.
Yeah.
And he was only like 3 years old or whatever when the whole thing went down. So this is quite a while. So I'm assuming he's still quite a young fella, whoever's writing this story.
Yeah, so it said like earlier on that she was in charge of the forum where it had first come up, and that was years before, and then he'd got her name, so he wanted to talk to her about it as part of like his college research or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
So, continued the email.
Ooh.
It is not a dog, of course, though I'm not quite sure what it really is. It tells me it will leave me alone only if I do as it asks. All I must do, it says, is spread the word. Yeah.
So again, I'm kind of like, so obviously it can communicate in human language then, so that's solved one of my mysteries. And I'm picturing here like a kind of like telepathic communication. Because obviously it's like
picture what you want, mate. It's up to you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Tell you what would stop you, though. Bit of trepanning.
Yeah.
That would stop you with your imagination.
Right, I think we need to start our own trepanning wellness industry.
Yeah, if you're
version of.
If you're interested in some trepanning, then contact us at legends.podcast@gmail.com.
Nowhere else to go. Give this a try.
We'll quote you. Yeah. And what I will say is we're very cheap.
I mean, the service will be on a par with the cost, to be honest with you.
It will be done in a back alley. Spread the word.
Maybe a Black & Decker.
It'd be Black & Decker, but you've got your
own brand drill.
Got to bring your own drill bit.
Yeah.
Because, medical, innit? But stick it over a bin fire for a bit until it gets nice and disinfected, and then bang, straight in. You won't even know it's happening. Then demons be gone. That's what we should call our website. Demons be gone.
Yeah.
Demons be gone.
No, I want you to think, do you want to give your child conventional medicine or how about a bit of trepanning?
Demons be gone.
From some unlicensed demons be goners. Yeah. Sort of like Ghostbusters, but with a bit more
sad thing is I think that you would get
there would be a market for that.
You would get some
100% there would be a market for that. That's depressing.
Hey, maybe that's how we can finally move to America.
Yeah, that's how we make our money.
Go around the Bible Belt.
Isn't it? It's like, you just, there's,
How much has Demons be gone? Well, it's very reasonable. $5 grand. 5 large. 5 large.
Cheap at the price, you would think.
If you haven't got that, we'll take some stuff in kind, some shine, whatever.
Yeah.
So that is how it phrases its demands, going back to the email.
Nice.
And I know exactly what it means. It wants me to show to someone else. And I could. So I received the mail in a manila envelope with no return address. Inside was a 3.5-inch floppy diskette. Without having to check, I knew precisely what was on it.
He's going through the postal system now as well.
Oh yeah, he's multimedia.
I was going to say, because from what I hear, you've taken a chance with the US Postal Service. Mind you, not that our own is that reliable anymore. I don't know. It's
not if you work for the post office, get banged up.
No, well, yeah, I mean, jailing their own staff.
Because their IT system's shit and they don't want to admit it.
Oh, yes. Do you know how much IT systems cost?
Do you hear that they
a lot more expensive to replace than
that they were like saying to people, like if you don't plea out, then like we'll come after you, like your wife and kids.
I mean, and we don't get into it too much, but there really needs to be some criminal prosecutions of
100%
the C-level people in Fujitsu and the post office who are,
yeah.
So anyway, these things. Anyway.
So 3.5-inch floppy. So without having to check, I knew what precisely was on it, and I thought for a long time about my options.
I mean, you're not going to have many because trying to find a floppy drive these days is pretty difficult.
Is it?
Well, it's not that.
So. I mean, you don't have them built in, but you could easily get them. And you got to remember, this is back in 2007, 8. So
okay. Again, I'm slightly hate. Well, no, because it's 15 years later. Oh no, because that was when she got. Okay, no.
Yeah.
Right. that was when she got the thing. Okay, yeah, that probably would have been slightly more common. Even then would have been reasonably rare post.
Well, when she got it sent it was back in 2001 or something, or 97. So it would
okay, yeah.
So
fair enough.
I'll draw you a timeline afterwards.
So is that how she got the initial thing through the post, or did she on a bulletin board or something?
So she was in charge of a bulletin board, and she saw it. A week later, she was sent a 3.5-inch floppy.
Right.
That she had dreams all the time,
really good stuff. Yeah,
telling her show it to someone else. This guy hears about this bulletin board and that she was the first one to see it. He goes to interview her. She goes nuts. Then a year later, she sends him an email to explain the whole situation.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you caught up?
I'm caught up now. Thank you.
Lovely. Just have a pen and paper with you.
Some of our listeners will be even thicker than me. So.
Oh, come on.
It's unlikely, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, if they manage to work a phone, then.
Yeah.
So without having to check, I knew precisely what was on it. I thought for a long time about my options. I could show it to a stranger, a co-worker, or I could even show it to Terence Trent D'Arby, as much as the idea disgusted me. And then what would happen? Well, if Smile.dog kept its word, I could sleep. Yet, if it lied, what would I do? Can't trust Smile.dog. And who was to say something worse would not come for me if I did as the creature asked? Like the Vatican.
Yeah.
So I did nothing for 15 years, though I kept the diskette hidden amongst my things. Every night for 15 years, Smile.dog has come to me in my sleep and demanded that I spread the word. I think that was the demons escaping.
Well, that's what they say, bless you, innit, when you sneeze.
That's exactly. That's just souls coming out
through your nostrils. Yeah. Just passing through. That's how we communicate between the planes.
Yeah,
probably. It's not hard life being a devil.
Well, they say that the nasal passage is where the veil's at its thinnest, don't they?
Oh, yeah, so they say.
For 15 years, I've stood strong, though there have been hard times. Many of my fellow victims on the BBS board where I first encountered Smile.jpg stopped posting. I heard some of them committed suicide. Others remain completely silent, simply disappearing off the face of the web, or changing their names, presumably.
Yeah.
Just not going to that thing anymore. They are the ones who I worry about the most. I sincerely hope you will forgive me, Mr. L.
I haven't seen Limp Bizkit Rocks 555 for 20 years. I might just grown up, to be honest with you.
So I sincerely hope you'll forgive me, Mr. L. But last summer, when you contacted me and my husband about an interview, I was near breaking point. I decided I was going to give you the floppy diskette. I did not care if Smile.dog was lying or not. I just wanted it to end. You were a stranger, someone I had no connection with, and I thought I would not feel sorrow when you took the diskette as part of your research and sealed your fate.
It's been so good for 15 years.
Hey, man.
You're going to break in the end, I guess.
Yeah. So before you arrived, I realised what I was doing. I was plotting to ruin your life, and I could not stand that thought. And in fact, I still cannot. I am ashamed, Mr. L, and I hope that this warning will dissuade you from further investigations into Smile.jpg. You may in time encounter someone who is, if not weaker than I, then wholly more depraved. Threaten me with a good time.
Maybe I want a demon dog on my tail.
Someone who will not hesitate to follow Smile.dog's orders. Stop while you are still whole. Sincerely, Mary E.
I'll say, given he's been tormenting her for 15 years and she's still not caved in, his psychological...
He ain't all that, is he?
Yeah, he ain't, his murder skills and what have you on... don't know.
So, Terence contacted me later that month with news that his wife had killed herself. There you go, Neil. That's the answer to your question.
Shut me up, innit?
Well, clearing up various things she'd left behind, closing email accounts and the like, he happened upon the above message.
I'll tell you what that is as well, Chris. That's that not infinite patience.
Yeah.
He's given it 15 years. He's given it a good old...
Pass it on. Come on, pass it on. All right, fuck it. I'm patient, man.
But I've got infinite patience.
Yeah, don't mistake my infinite patience for weakness.
Yeah.
He was a man in shambles. He wept and told me to listen to his wife's advice. He had found the diskette, he revealed, and burnt it until it was nothing but a stinking pile of blackened plastic. The part the most disturbing, however, was how the diskette had hissed as it melted, like some sort of animal, he said. I was still adamant that I will admit that I was still uncertain about how to respond to this. At first, I thought perhaps it was a joke with the couple belatedly playing with the situation in order to get a rise out of me. But a quick check of several Chicago newspapers' online obituaries, however, proved that Mrs. E was indeed dead. There was, of course, no mention of suicide in the article. I decided that, for a time at least, I would not further pursue the subject of Smiledog.jpg, especially since I had finals coming up at the end of May. But the world has an odd way of testing us, Neil. Almost a full year after I'd returned from my disastrous interview with Mary E., I received another email. So this is from her email address, I think. Hello. I found your email address through a mailing list. Your profile said you are interested in Smiledog. I have saw it, and it's not as bad as everyone says. I have sent it to you here, just spreading the word. Smiley face. The final line chilled me to the bone.
Is he going to open it?
According to my email client, there was one file attachment called, naturally, smile.jpg. I considered downloading it for some time. It was most likely fake, I imagined, and even if it wasn't, I wasn't wholly convinced of Smile.jpg's peculiar powers. Mary E.'s account had shaken me, yes, but she was probably mentally unbalanced anyway. After all, how could a simple image do what Smile.jpg was said to accomplish? What sort of creature was it that could break into one's mind with only the power of the eye? And if such a thing were patently absurd, then why did the legend exist at all? If I downloaded the image, if I looked at it, and if Mary turned out to be correct, Smile.dog would come to me in my dreams demanding I spread the word. What would I do? Would I live my life as Mary had, fighting against the urge to give in until I died, or would I simply spread the word, eager to be put to rest?
And what would they send through in the post this time? USB key?
No, CD, burnt CD.
Even they're becoming rarer these days.
Yeah, but this isn't these days.
Oh, okay.
This is the past.
I get very confused with timelines, Chris. You know.
I know, it's because you don't believe in time.
No. It's quite a circle, I've been told.
That's what you've been told by your ancestors.
The series of True Detective.
And if I chose the latter route, how could I do it? Who would I burden in turn? I'd send it to you. Now, would you send it to me?
Yeah,
100%.
No, I'll just send copy and. I've got a list. Let's put it like
that. I've got a list set up that I send all this stuff to.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't wish harm on anyone, but
still, you have got a list.
I've got a list. So.
If I went through,
I'll just be testing a theory. Well, I mean, obviously, it's untrue, but
if I went through it with my earlier intention to write a short article about Smile.jpg, I decided I could attach it as evidence, and anyone who read the article or anyone who took an interest would be affected. And even assuming the Smile.jpg attached to my email was genuine, would I be capricious enough to save myself in that manner? Could I spread the word? Yes, I could. Credit anonymous. So there's your creepypasta.
I've kept their name anonymous. Is that the original creepypasta then, or is that?
Don't know.
Or is that just a variation on theme? I'm wondering.
I don't know. It's a nice story though.
I don't mind this one. It's quite a good one. It's I like the fact that the image cannot be found. So I just had to try and recreate it.
Overview.
Oh, okay.
You try and tell yourself over and over, it's just an image, just a stupid picture of a stupid dog that someone has photoshopped teeth onto. It isn't even scary. Or at least it doesn't scare you. Not one bit. How could it scare you? It's just a picture. You tell yourself these things, but when you do, you lie. The image does scare you. Something about that smile. Too wide with too many teeth.
Dog with too many teeth, that's pretty weird as well. She's been sharpened.
The same all the better to eat you with smile that the big bad wolf gave to Red Riding Hood. A smile full of threat and sharpness. It's a predatory smile. Again, you try and bury the idea, to ignore it, but it's of no use. Even when you close your eyes, you see it, smiling maniacally back at you, the eyes illuminated and searing, burning into your mind, your soul. You know, right then, you'll have to get rid of it, to pass the image in to someone else, to do the thing it says and spread the word. You know that you'll do these things because you must, because if you don't, you know that eventually he'll pay you a visit. So the Smiledog creepypasta is often referenced to as Smile.jpg, concerns a supposed curse or demonic image of a Siberian husky with a menacing expression, an exaggerated large smile with the mouth seemingly filled with human teeth. According to the story, the image depicted, Smiledog, is an image of a demon or an evil spirit that plagues and torments anyone that looks upon it with horrendous visions and nightmares, impelling them to spread the word by sharing the image with others. The longer the victim continues without sharing the image, the more extreme the hauntings become. And if the image is not shared, then the Smiledog takes its true form, either killing the victim, driving to the point of insanity, or, in many versions, simply dragging them away to hell. So, which would you prefer, Neil? Death, insanity, or hell?
I mean, well, I think hell and death kind of go hand in hand, don't they? So
no.
Well, let's put hell last.
Really?
Not sure that'd be fun.
No, but you're still conscious of, your consciousness lives on in hell, but maybe not in death.
Well, yeah, but you're being eternally tortured and all that, isn't it?
Yeah, whatever.
No, I prefer death to hell. Insanity depends.
Insanity's not too bad sometimes. Right. Yeah. So the original image associated with Smiledog, Smiledog creepypasta, shows Siberian husky, heavily fur-shot mouth. Husky is grey-black, and the image shows only the head and the neck with the prominent pointed ears. The eyes of the dog are illuminated by the camera flash, so they take on a glowing quality, and the manner in which the dog is looking directly into the lens, as if posing for a portrait, in a disturbingly human fashion, just looking. Most unsettling, though, is the smile, which, aside from appearing too wild for the mouth itself, seems to contain not canine teeth, but more human or primate.
Well, I think what they're trying to do a lot of here is kind of give it a human-like kind of appearance and sort of intelligence. Do you know what I mean? So when it says it looks like you like a human would or whatever, it's they're trying to paint a picture with words, aren't they? Mm-hmm. One could argue not as successfully as they intend, but I don't know. Again, I think it's. I do like the ambiguity of not sharing the image. I think that's the one thing about this. I think it's good.
So, origins and development. The origin of both the original image of the husky and the first appearance of the altered image are unknown, with their creator still being anonymous. A fact that only adds to the story's effectiveness by adding at least the suggestion that the image could have an origin other than just someone editing and posting an image of their dog. The inability to pin down the exact origin of the story also ties in with the meta elements of the creepypasta story itself, in which the narrator describes how the image cannot be traced and references it to popular websites or instance linked to it seems to disappear or be suppressed, suggesting that there are forces that do not wish the background of this image or information about its power to be discussed in a public forum. The general consensus.
So is that the powers of heaven, do we think? Jesus having to spend a lot of time, he's going to be coming back down soon because he's sick and tired of having to clean up a load of fallen
admin. Jesus in the Bible, if you remember, because that 30 years which he disappeared.
He spent a lot of time on bulletin boards.
He was a HTML coder, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So the general consensus on the first appearance of the creepypasta relating to the image is that it first appeared in 2008 on the 4chan X board, though even this origin remains frustratingly non-specific and unclear. Following the initial posting, the story becomes a little clearer. In 2009, a post on Urban Dictionary gave an explanation of the story as the definition for the time Smiledog. In April 2010, a thread opened by anonymous Ethan on Movie Codec forums discussing the image and story. Here, the idea of the image origin was unclear and again underscored by the poster. Later the same year, a live-action video about the story was uploaded to YouTube by a user known as Saboom. And on the 27th of August, the story got its own page on the Creepypasta Wiki. Influences and impact. The Smiledog/Smiledog creepypasta is built around a number of long-established tropes. First is the concept of chain letters. These are letters sent mostly anonymously and which contain the instruction or inducement to spread or send a letter on its message, often with the promise of some reward for this action, or conversely, the threat of some mishap or bad luck.
The earliest days of emails, they were so common, those chain emails, so irritating.
Well, you still see them on that sort of thing posted on Facebook.
Oh, I don't really spend them.
I got
Facebook about once a year for some reason. Yeah, I don't. I maintain. Well, I maintain it. I've got. I'm on Facebook. I don't really have to check it.
I got sent something on WhatsApp from our mate Rico.
Oh, okay. How's he doing?
Yeah, he's all right. And it is. Do you remember? So they used to do pictures out of like brackets and like you would make a picture out of punctuation marks and stuff.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I got a picture of a muscular creature with pointed ears and a massive erection from Rico.
Oh,
so pass the Christmas cock monster to 10 of your tightest bros and give them a big cock and for massive gains in this 2023 and thank them for everything they've done. I didn't pass it on to anyone, I'll be honest.
No.
But so it's still going on, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so it's still happening on Facebook. Well, that's nice to know that trend is carried on. Because I do recall like back in the sort of like late 90s, that was people who didn't quite know, and it's like, I've been told to. Because the thing as well, it's like, you have to save this on to save a life or something like this, and it's kind of like
we used to get them at fucking work sometimes.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, I think the thing is the spam filters have just got much better at detecting these things as well. This is the thing I was reading about as well. The whole thing with the kind of like Nigerian Prince email and stuff like that. It's like a self-selection.
Still waiting for my money.
Still waiting for the money. Yeah. But no, the reason why apparently a lot of them would be misspelled and all the rest of it and look quite dodgy was because you want someone gullible. There's no point wasting time with someone who's at the moment.
Yeah. So they on purposely filter people out.
Than you think.
So originally, actual letters sent by snail. So so this is something which used to be done by snail mail before all this, the chain thing.
Oh yeah, chain letters go back to whatever.
So originally, actual letters sent by snail mail.
Try and get some money, I guess.
This concept evolved to encompass virus emails and Facebook posts, but work in precisely the same way. While the addition of haunted, supernatural, or curse elements has long been an established feature of some of the old school physical chain letters. One of the more notable examples of this is an internet format and possible precursor to Smiledog.jpg story, which was the story of Carmen Winstead and alternatively named Jessica Smith that surfaced on Facebook in 2006 about a girl who had died in a sewer. The post insisted that if the reader did not share the post to a specified number of people, they would be haunted by Carmen/Jessica, a familiar template that one recounts in Smiledog. The other significant tropes of the story, the idea of being pursued by a demon or malevolent entity, and the idea that this activity can be started or halted by passing on a particular artifact is a common one within most popular culture and a theme of numerous horror movies from The Ring to the comedic Drag Me to Hell, and more recently, It Follows. one of the earliest and best executed incarnation of this notion, and the story which arguably laid the blueprint for the latter incarnations of the same idea, is Casting the Runes by M.R. James, in which a slip of paper sporting the titular runes is passed to the unwitting victims of a curse and must be passed secretly onto another person by a specified date. Otherwise, the summoned demon will pursue the victim and eventually destroy them. The uncanny. Part of the effectiveness of the Smiledog.jpg creepypasta and image being creepy is due to its ability to induce a feeling known as the uncanny in viewers. This is most attributed to the dog Smile and its apparent need for CBD for pets. In an effect similar to the unsettling effects caused by a clown's painted smile, psychologists suggest that smiles that are too wide or which show all of the teeth produce a feeling of anxiety with an onlooker, as it subconsciously suggests predation or aggression.
Yeah, I can sort of get that. I mean, one thing I'll say, everyone goes on about clowns being scary. No, I don't know.
You think they're sexy, don't you?
Oh, pretty sexy. Those big red noses.
Oh, don't mind if I do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't find that image particularly terrifying. This whole thing, but but yeah, no, I get the whole point with baring all of your teeth. Obviously, is a sign of construed as a sign of aggression. And
do you know what, Neil? To polish off my rambling, I am going to read
it's our aperitif here.
Something off of Reddit under the creepypasta thing, posted 1 year ago by someone called Ling_B. Okay. And it's, does this smile dog image still haunt anyone as an adult? Is what it's called.
Okay.
So I know it's kind of considered a cliche and an internet legend by now, but I'd like to explain my experience, even if people find it amusing. I remember around 2014, I was going through a creepypasta phase and had multiple recommended videos of audio reads all over my YouTube feed. I typically avoided stories like Jeff the Killer and Slender Man because personally, I found them a bit generic.
Weak sauce.
I used to find it laughable that people at my age at the time found a confirmed fictional character who lacks a face horrifying, and another image that looked like it was photoshopped by a middle school student taking a graphic design class scary.
But then I got a good haunting.
Whenever people at my school, whenever people at my school discussed these stories, Smiledog was brought up on occasion. However, no one ever told me what it was about, and I'd never seen the iconic photo from the story. I wasn't really interested in hearing a horror story involving a dog either, because my 20-year-old border collie had passed away that year.
Yeah,
that's sad. One night, however, when I was scrolling through YouTube, I came across a thumbnail that had the image and nothing but the word Smiledog in the title. After seeing this, I felt such an unnerving sensation of feelings that it was so bad I had to close off my laptop and get to sleep, which is already hard for me to do afterwards. I don't know why I reacted so badly to the photo when I had already been exposed to and desensitized to other media as a teenager. I was going through a dark web phase too, and live leak was still a thing at my time. I didn't tell anyone about this, and I figured I'd get over it at some point, which I did for the most part, but every once in a while it came back to me and I struggled to sleep again. Later, around 2016, when my friends and I went camping, we told campfire stories of legends such as Mothman and Bunnyman Bridge. And even looked at some NSFL subreddits.
Bunnyman Bridge, I believe we've done a podcast on that.
Of course we have.
Yeah, of course we have.
In spirit, I decided to finally express my feelings on Smiledog. And my other friends hadn't heard of the story either. I showed them the image using my phone, and they didn't have the same reaction I did, and we dismissed it all as being in my head, which it probably was. As we went to bed in our tents, we had deep, typical teenage conversations about goils, the future, juvenile sexual discussions and jokes. And also joked about how this camping trip felt like one of those coming-of-age novels like Stephen King's.
This is turning into a Stephen King story. Yeah, I'm glad it references that itself.
God, I miss those days sometimes.
Oh. Do you remember when we all used to sit around as teenagers and talk like 40-year-old men? Those were the days.
In our blossoming sexual youth.
Anyone got any coke? No, I think he got out of that phase in the 80s, to be fair.
Yeah, it got into a bit deeper and darker territory as midnight went on, and we talked about depression and started being brutally honest with our emotions. Hey, that's good, guys.
That's good that they're talking it out. Yeah. Health is important.
For some reason, the fearful sensation I had when looking at the Smiledog image came back to me. Then suddenly my friends stated they had similar feelings. At the risk of embarrassment, I admitted I was thinking of the Smiledog image again, and they stated they were too. We ended up not even sleeping that night until 6 a.m. when the party ain't stopped until 6 a.m.
I was going to say, I mean, why? Is it just because he was having such a good time?
No, because he was
so spookified.
It wasn't until years later that I actually figured out what the story was, that the story was about the image itself and how it drove people insane. I've sort of settled down now about all of this as an adult. Hell, sometimes I find it laughable as a childhood memory. But I still don't like looking at the picture. And given the context of the story, after already finding the image disturbing, it seems ironic and almost uncanny. I didn't know about the hands in the background either until reading it. I was disturbed by the dog, and I genuinely love German Shepherds. My brother has one. Yeah, but it's a husky, mate.
It's a husky, yeah, not German Shepherd.
Yeah. I think your brother's lying to you. The whole time before reading, I was afraid it'd be a story about a dog dying or something. I'm curious if anyone else has had similar feelings about the Smiledog picture, or if anyone can explain some of the psychological effects that may be caused here. For clarification, here's the image. There's a link. Also, I found this. Allegedly, it's the original unedited version of the picture. Also, according to this user...
sneaking it in.
Well, let's have a look. Yes, picture of a dog. I'm going to send this to you now. So this is apparently the unedited...
This may be our last podcast, listeners. If we get hauntings.
And there you go. I've put that in chat. Edit. I also want to say that this post is an honest story and not meant to be a creepypasta itself.
So I can't see the hand.
No, it's just a picture of a dog. So that's meant to be the original unedited version, and then the edited version. So that's the picture which was photoshopped.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, it looks like the eyes have been photoshopped red, but anyway.
So I'm sending you through the one with the hands now as well, just so you can don't have nightmares. So, and this person has two comments.
Stupid.
Yeah, it has two comments. It may not give me nightmares, but I'll just say you're not alone. It creeps the hell out of me just by seeing it. And yeah, same. It's probably because it plays with our minds. You expect a dog to be cute and loving, but the Smiledog image is completely the opposite of that. And Neil, that is the story as is, although there might be more in future, of Smiledog.
Well, yeah. So if our next podcast is just us gibbering into microphones, you'll know what's happening, won't you?
You won't be able to tell the difference, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How would we possibly know?
Why are they more clear and making more sense?
Yeah. Oh my God, they've actually really upticked in quality.
So Neil, let's go through the system of score.
I'm disappointed I've seen those photos now, Chris.
Why? It was better in your head.
Ruined the mystique, yeah.
Oh, sorry. When you say that, you're not going to sleep tonight, mate.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, mate.
And a badly photoshopped dog.
I'll leave my phone. I'll leave my phone on.
My dreams tonight.
So you can ring if you need to.
Just scream down the line.
Yeah, segment. Usual nighttime call, isn't it? So spookiness now. What are you giving it?
It is quite spooky. I think you don't need to see the pictures because that obviously ruins things. It's better if you've got something in your head. Never show the monster. It's quite derivative of other things, but yeah, I do like this kind of it's there's a bit of ambiguity in there. There's the idea. Something that the one thing is some of the details in the story where she'd been haunting with him 15 years, but then all of a sudden broke. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no, but it is quite spooky. Yeah, so it's that classic kind of ring thing, isn't it? Where something, you stumble across something, you think it's nothing, and then it sort of like ends up ruining your life. That's obviously quite spooky. The problem is what's going to dock it points, though, is there's too many variations of people sending around the actual pictures, which loses it. I think it'd be much better if it was just all, I think the original one's probably spookier than, when people have now added onto it and they're trying to play with it a bit more. So I'll give it a 6. I think it's quite spooky, but I think it's better when it's just people referring to an image that's been deleted off of their hard drive and they can't share, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's haunting them.
So, yeah, I think that. Yeah, you know what? Like, it's. Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. It's better. It's better that you don't see the picture and stuff. But I don't know. Like, it does sound like it. I think it has spooked some people. Like the actual picture, it doesn't do anything for me particularly. But we're all different at what gives us the heebie-jeebies. So, I think this person I think the people on the Reddit that I just read out, I think he's being genuine that it does spook him a bit. And also, like, they're 16 and they're camping, like, that picture's scary, wasn't it? Yeah.
If you're at a young age and you're impressionable, then yeah, you might, got an imagination, then yeah, you could well.
Yeah. So I think it's got some spookiness. I don't find it particularly spooky, but yeah, I don't have a lot to say about it. I'm going to give it. I'll give it a 6 as well, Neil, because I can't think, and I trust you.
And it's another number towards 666, and it's
yeah. So. Well, believability. No, so it's a creepypasta. So,
yeah,
but I think
it's a 1.
No, but I think so. If we're looking at it, so I don't think that it is a demon thing that gets into your nut and gives you epilepsy. But teenagers reading internet stuff late at night, do they believe it? Yeah, probably some people do. You get yourself worked up when you're young, can't you? So I'm gonna go down the middle and give it a 4.
Okay, that's probably a bit generous for me because I think.
Well, I'm a generous guy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I think this is one where it's going to suffer a bit. This is kind of like because I know something with a lot of these kind of creepypasta things. The believability is always a bit down. I think it's just some Reddit forum, and I don't think people necessarily believe themselves. I think probably what there can be is there's a frisson of kind of like oh, well, I don't really believe it, but there's something in the back of your head. But what if it was? But I don't think people are outright and like, no, I absolutely think that this is a true thing. So I'll give it a 3.
Okay, narrative premise now.
It's kind of all right. I think the problem with it is it's using a lot of kind of tropes and stuff that have been done elsewhere and probably better. As I say, I do like with the original story where it was kind of like the file had gotten deleted or whatever, or they had to send it through some physical media that they'd only so it's not widely available. And it's having to do some sort of heavy lifting to an extent of sort of like people are clearing it off of all of these things this week and then find it. But no, I like the fact that they keep it kind of ambiguous like that. But yeah, it's kind of the rest of it's kind of like fairly generic. Kind of you just I don't know. I suppose I've not really come across a concept of a dog, and I think what you could do is you could explore the aspect. I think it'd be something like if it made your own pets haunt you or something like that. That'd be good. Maybe I'm going too far off canon here, but I don't know. There's potential there. I'm going to give it a 5.
So I'm going higher. So yes, there are some that it's got tropes, right? Fair enough. But it's taking a fresh approach to things. It's got some good ideas, like you don't ever actually see the picture because you pass out, but then it's in your nut the whole time. And then when you think you're rid of it, then it sends you get sent a disc in the post that you
take reel-to-reel tape through the post.
And you know what? The what I will say is, and it's uncredited who wrote the thing, but I think that the story, which I read out, the kind of creepypasta story on creepypasta.com, I think that's a well-written story. Like, considering some of the stuff which I've read, I think that's pretty well written.
Too bad.
So I mean, it's not it hasn't, it's not. You couldn't start up a franchise on it, but I think it's got enough originality to it. You can do more stuff with it, and I think that story was well written. So those all going together, I'm giving it an 8.
It is.
And Reach, it's one of the big creepypasta ones, along with Slender Man and stuff. Obviously, it's painfully online, but within that sphere, it's pretty well known. So I'm going to give it a 6 now.
Yeah, probably similar for me. I wouldn't put up the likes of Slender Man because that's kind of crossed over into the real world with various terrible shenanigans. But people become more aware of it. Yeah, I mean, I'd not heard of it, but yeah, I mean, presumably it's a sort of well-known creepypasta where people are into all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think a 6 for me as well.
Okay, well, that gives us overall 44. Not bad. If you've got any creepypasta or anything you want us to look at, or you want to send us some kind of demonic JPEG, then please do it. .legends.podcast@gmail.com or at legendsurbane on Twitter. Yeah, so that's it for this week. Quite enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that's the story.
Hope you all have a good week, and I wish you success in all of your endeavours over the next week. And
why not?
I'll see you same time.
Like a faithful dog that isn't trying to haunt your dreams and murder skills you.
Yeah, although this podcast is hopefully haunting your dreams.
Hope skills you.
Hope skills you.
Yeah, there you
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
It's an urban legend. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, girls are great. Oh, I'd give them my best. White and white, please, John. Right, Steve, you so rag. You owe me a monkey.